today I'm here to tell you a story about two amazing and inspiring young women, Mackenzie and Alexis. Along with their director here, Mr. Semyon, they traveled to Novi, Michigan. That's 171 miles away. They went to a talent summit and did a program or a presentation for some of the leaders of the state, and including Mr. Governor Snyder. Ladies, can you tell me how that summit went and how your presentation went?
Our presentation went really well. I think he was, I know this sounds a little cocky, but I think he was a little impressed because, you know, I think we had some good ideas with our group, and yeah, we had some good plans to make Orchardview a better place.
And how do you feel like it went?
I think all of it went good. Like, it was a little, like, I don't know, like surprising when we first got there because we didn't know any of the people. But like after like the hours of like sitting there with those people, like you get comfortable and you work with them and you figure out like really good ideas.
And what did you present, Mackenzie?
We presented, you know, just a plan to make Orchardview a better place, and you know, we had some like ideas about cross-grade partnerships, like better relationships between 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, and we had some ideas about a hope board and, you know, using the student council to really help improve our school.
And Alexis, you're part of the student council here at Orchardview, right?
No.
No, Mackenzie, are you?
Yeah.
And how does the student council come into play in bettering the school as a whole?
So basically our plan was to, you know, make almost like, you know how sometimes when you make group chats with your friends, kind of like that, but in person. So we were planning on, you know, mixing up some 6th, 7th, and 8th graders and getting some leaders for those groups. And, you know, just meeting in the library some days in Pride or in different classrooms where we're allowed to. And, you know, just talking about problems that we have or just trying to, you know, really understand everybody.
So you're taking the media out of social media. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
And Mr. Semyon, how do you think that this benefits the students here at Orchardview?
Well, I think for our students here, you know, and in a lot of ways, school in general, you don't get to sort of find yourself or find your voice until after you graduate. And sometimes we see kids who go off, but then they sort of land back at home on mom or dad's couch or in the basement, that sort of thing.
Kids.
Yeah, the boomerang kids, right? Totally. And so I think this is a great opportunity for us to really recognize that our students can have a lot of voice while they're here in school, that they are really insightful people capable of partnering with adults and helping us to make this school a better place. And I think about it, we've got thousands of students, and so if we can start to listen to what they have to say and they can start to help us move our system forward, we're only going to be that much better for it.
And you're the education director here at Orchardview. So what does a program like this mean to you and putting this together?
Well, it means a lot to me. I think, you know, we have heard a lot in national news and national media recently about the power that students have to express themselves, whether it's through a walkout or organizing, and it's really empowering and encouraging to think about our students being conscientious and contributing to the greater good of the society that they live in. So it's one of those lessons that it's really kind of tough to teach out of a book or test or quiz on, but to see students actually living that out in their lives, going to Novi, making a plan, working to make their school a better place, like that's a really encouraging thing.
It definitely is something very inspiring because, like I said before, I have never met Rick Snyder, and I mean, a lot of people here in Michigan can probably say the same thing, so you guys should be very impressed with yourselves. I know I'm impressed with you. Alexis, can you tell me a little bit about your hope boards and the things that you presented and how you feel like it was perceived by the leaders here in Michigan?
Well, the hope board was an idea that we all came up with, but I was the one that was gonna like talk to Mr. Smith and get it like cleared for me to be able to do it. And I wanted to put like whiteboards in each of the like 6th, 7th, and 8th graders hall, and then one in the main hall, and then one in the lunchroom. And then in the top I was gonna put I hope for, and then all the students in their grades could just write what they hope for the school to be. And then the principals and whoever wants to go around and see what other students hope for could like help their hopes come true.
So you're trying to help the students have a voice and be able to communicate to the staff here? Do you think it's hard to talk to the staff, or do you think that this has helped you gain a bigger voice?
I think this has helped us, but I know that for like other students, it's really hard to talk sometimes because you don't know what they're gonna say, so you don't want to take that chance of them saying what you're not helping them to say.
How do you think that Mr. Rick Snyder, Governor Rick Snyder, perceived your presentation?
I think he thought it was cool. I mean, I can't read mine, so. But I think he thought it was a good idea. I would hope that he would have, you know, some hope, and, you know, I would imagine that he thinks that it's going to go somewhere, because we think that it's going to go somewhere, and we believe that, you know, we can really help make this great.
And you were saying you were one or two of only 10 students that went?
Yeah, there were only about 10 students there from, you know, all across the different schools and the different places that we had there.
And most of the students were high schoolers.
Yeah.
They weren't like our grade.
And y'all are middle schoolers.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are in what grade?
I'm in 8th.
And I'm in 7th.
And do you think that it was intimidating at first to be around?
At first, it was
not
so
even,
weird.
you know, the leaders of the state, but just high schoolers
and other adults, because when we first got there, I think we were some of the first people there, and some, like, it was just mainly adults, and me and Alexis were like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
What do we get ourselves into?
We didn't know how they were gonna like react to our ideas, so we were scared. We were like, is anybody else gonna show up as students? And I don't know. There's a lot that happened that we were just confused and not prepared for.
We were, but then we finally, you know, we got used to the people who we were around, and we realized, you know, this is what Orchard View is trying to do. They're trying to give us a voice. So how come we don't take this chance and, you know, run with it?
And Mr. Semyon, how do you feel like you've seen the growth? I know that you're not necessarily their teacher, but how do you feel like you've seen the growth of these two young ladies and the possibilities of Orchard View students itself?
Well, just listening to them talk again, you know, when Mackenzie said we were one of the first groups that arrived, we were, and you could see sort of this change over the course of the day. And I think part of that's just getting to know the people at the table and feeling comfortable. But it's really encouraging, right? I think in a lot of ways, schools are told from the outside what to do, either from legislators or through policy. And I think we've got a lot of really, really dedicated people in schools, whether that's teachers or whether that's students. And what's, I think for me, inspiring about this is we're making these changes from the inside sort of out together by bringing teachers and students together and listening to those voices. And it's really encouraging to see how that's sort of letting the students and the adults come alive with one another in ways that maybe we hadn't thought of before, you know.
And what are you taking away from the summit? I know that, you know, there was other presenters and other people giving their ideas. So what are you bringing back to Orchard View, and what is Orchard View doing differently now, trying to help better the students?
I think, you know, so a lot of these ideas, the Hope Board and some of those things are ways that we can increase from like students to adults and adults to kids, this idea of empathy, that we understand one another, that we're communicating about things that maybe aren't so academic in nature. You know, I think schools are really good at sort of testing and quizzing and knowledge and content. This is really about understanding the kids in front of us and social emotional things. And so how do we now look at the ways schools are set up? Are we really organized to help the students succeed?
So are we breaking barriers, ladies?
I think so.
Do you think that your teachers here at Orchard View are doing a good job at not necessarily being your teachers, but trying to get somewhat on the same level, but keeping that authority?
I think they are.
You can go. Oh, okay. I think they are too, and sometimes it's hard because there's like this, you know, like for students at least, there's like this level of intimidation, like what if this teacher doesn't like me, yada yada yada. And you know, but as teachers really learn the students and they really, you know, get to know us, I think that our relationships get better, and I think that, you know, we still have some work to do, but you know, who doesn't? And we're on our way to doing something great.
Awesome. I am so proud of you ladies. You have no idea. I am. And I definitely think that it was very brave and courageous of you guys to put your voice out there, because I know that even my first time, I was shaking like a leaf when I had to speak in front of this camera, even though no one's behind it. So I definitely can kind of get the feeling of how you guys are, and I'm really proud of you. You guys should be really proud of yourselves. Thank you for letting me talk to you today, and thank you, Mr. Semyon, for putting this out there and giving them the chance to speak their minds and letting others know about what we need to work on here.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us today on the Muskegon channel. I'm Gaberielle Butterfileld, signing off.